Hello everyone, this is Jim Nix, and in this video, we're going to share some workflow ideas for adding warmth to your images. I'll walk you through two different photos, one landscape and one portrait, and show how we go from the before image to the after image. So let's go ahead and get started. First up is this landscape photo. We'll begin by choosing the filters and adding them to the filter panel. So just click on Add Filters, and the filter catalog will open over here. Going down the list alphabetically, I'm going to choose Brilliance and Warmth, Color Temperature, Golden Hour, Split Color Warmth, and finally the new Sun Rays filter. Now that I'm finished with the filter catalog, I'll just click on Add Filters to close it. And because the Sun Rays filter automatically adds the sun to the photo, I'm going ahead and turn that off for now. The Brilliance and Warmth filter is great for adding rich warmth to a scene such as this one. Though I am going to increase the vividness, let's say something about like that, I'm going to slightly drop the warmth to keep from overwarming the entire scene. I think about there. The reason why I'm doing this is because there's a nice blue in the clouds, and I don't want to totally overwhelm that look. Color temperature is next, and while I'm not going to adjust the temperature, I will increase the tint, I'd say something about like that, in order to bring back some of that pinkish purple color in the sunset scene. Next up is Golden Hour, and it does an amazing job of adding a warm-toned sunlight effect to a photo, so I'm using it here for that exact purpose. Just a slight increase in both the amount and the saturation should do. I think we're looking good so far. Here's a before and after of where we've come from and where we are currently. Let's do a little bit more. For another bump in the warmth across the image, I'm going to employ the Split Color Warmth filter. Let me make some adjustments here. I think about there and about there. This filter lets you selectively enhance the cool or warm tones, and as you can see, it's had a nice effect on this scene. There's before the filter, and here's after. I think it looks much better. Lastly, we'll use the Sunray filter to add some slight but beautiful beams of light across the image. I'll go ahead and turn this filter back on, and first I'm going to place Sun Center, and because the sun is already in the image, of course I'm going to place it on top of the existing sun. Once I like the placement, I click Place Sun Center, and now I can adjust these filters. I'll take amount down somewhat, while also decreasing the look slider. I'll also reduce the number of sun rays visible in this scene. While I'm at it, I'm going to shrink the radius of the sun, and slightly adjust the glow of the radius and the glow amount as well. Basically, I don't want the sun ray filter to overwhelm the feeling in the photo. Let me show you a before and after of this filter. There's the before, and there's the after. I think it's a nice, subtle application of the sunray filter. Now let's take a look at the before and after for the entire photo. Here's the before, and here's the after. And here's a split screen, which I can slide left to right to compare the before and after. I click it again to close it. I think we've done a great job here of using these filters to add warmth to the image. So at this point, I'm finished with this landscape photo and I'm ready to use some similar techniques on a portrait, so let's get that started next. So here's the portrait we'll be using, and I want to note that this photo was supplied to us by photographer Tim Engel. So thanks for letting us edit this one, Tim. I've gone ahead and added the filters that we'll be using in the filter panel here on the right-hand side. Now the first thing I notice is that the horizon is not level, but this looks like a creative tilt to me, which I really like in this shot, so I'm not going to straighten it. However, if you wanted it straightened, you could do that very easily in the crop tool, which is right here in the Tools drop-down menu. The first filter we'll use is Brilliance and Warmth. I think it generally gives a nice pop to the image, so I'm going to go ahead and make the adjustments here that I like to apply to the image. I think something about like that looks good. One thing I notice about the photo, though, is that the color temperature is slightly off with a little bit of green in it. So next up is the color temperature slider, which fixes that really quickly. I'm going to move temperature slightly to the cooler side of things, while at the same time moving tint to the right. This corrects that partially green hue that I was seeing in the image. Here's a before and the after for that filter. You can see how the green has been adjusted. Now I'm going to adjust the Golden Hour filter. It adds nice, indirect, and warm-toned light across the entire image. It does a really great job of adding warmth across a photo, and I think it really helps with this image as well. Go ahead and make those adjustments. If you look at the before and after, you can see that it's warmed up the model's skin considerably. Now I'll use saturation and vibrant sliders, and I'll just use them gently in order to provide a small bump in saturation across the entire image. Finally, I add a vignette to the image which draws interest to the center of the photo since there is a fair amount of empty space. Using this just helps direct the viewer's eye to the model. And now let's look at a before and after for the entire image. Here's the before, and here's the after, and here's a split screen, before and after. I think we've done a great job here of warming up the photo while focusing attention on the model. So that's all for this video, showing various methods for adding warmth to your images. We demonstrated both a landscape and a portrait, but these filters are applicable across any type of image. I hope that these tips help, and thanks a lot for watching.